The Gamma 2 case, much like its predecessor, is rather boring. Out in August of 2016, people had already figured out that you could make money from skins on the Steam market, and as a result, you could no longer make so much money from skins on the Steam market. But what if you were one of the latecomers who still thought it would be a good idea to buy one of every skin type in both StatTrak and non-StatTrak? How much would those 34 skins have cost you back then? And how much money and regret is your investment worth now? Time to investigate. I assumed all 34 skins were bought in the highest quality possible. For 16 of the 17 skins in this collection, that's factory new condition. The only one that isn't is the Negev Dazzle, which at best is just minimal wear. No camouflage is perfect, it seems. It always takes time for the prices to settle, so for the sake of simplicity, I'll assume all 17 of these were bought a month after release, on September the 18th of 2016, in both StatTrak and non-StatTrak varieties. Back then, those 34 skins would have cost you £811, and today, if you were to sell them all, you'd get £444. In other words, this collection has almost halved in value in the almost 4 years they've been out. So, if you're from 2016 and are asking if it would be worth buying them all with the intention of selling them all on in 2020, I can now confidently tell you, no. Investing £811 in Tesla shares, on the other hand, would now be worth £5,500. And £811 of Bitcoin invested in September of 2016 would now be worth £12,700, unless you made the wrong decision and switched it all for Bitcoin Cash. Of the Gamma 2 case collection, the UMP45 Briefing was the worst one to buy, with normal and StatTrak now worth just 22% of its initial value. In real terms, the StatTrak one has dropped in value from £5 to just £1.14, losing you a pint's worth of value. But the StatTrak AK-47 Neon Revolution would have lost you the most money, dropping from £322 to just £129. That's a new Radeon 480 in value, lost in an instant to temporarily rent a single virtual skin. Although most have, not all of the skins have devalued. The StatTrak FAMAS roll cage is 6% more valuable now, and the standard SCAR 20 power core is worth exactly the same, earning it the reward for being the most boring investment. But you'll still lose money in the Valve sales tax. And looking at the graphs, even these skins could fluctuate between profit or loss depending on the day. Even these certainly aren't reliable bets. The best one you could have invested in would have been the Negev Dazzle in StatTrak quality, which is now worth 35% more than it was back then. The irony of all this is that the best investment seems to have been the one skin that isn't available in factory new condition. So none of them are that exciting to have invested in. But buy and sell at the right times and there are still opportunities to be made. Investing just £185,000 into StatTrak SG Triarchs at this value would have made you a millionaire here, on paper at least. Good luck shifting that sort of quantity of skins though. Non-StatTrak would have been even better. It would have taken just £133,000 worth of these to make you a millionaire if all sold here. The StatTrak Sid Mead also did well, going from £11 here to north of £70 per piece here. But compared with earlier cases, there's not a lot of opportunities here. Aside from an 8K worth £20 selling for £2 here, there weren't many regrettable selling blunders made either. And what can I say, this well-worn G3SG1 ventilator must have had some awesome stickers to have been worth the £65 sale made just last month. By 2017, the Gamma 2 cases themselves quickly dropped in value to just 3p, but in the last month or so have risen up to as much as 10p. With thousands of them sold per day, these cases may have been your most solid option to profit from this collection, and for me to make money from how this series manipulates market prices. For this series, I've tried to analyse the same cases I then unbox in my Millionaire series, but it's pretty obvious that newer cases are really boring to analyse. The older ones are much more variable, and filled with greater levels of regret. So moving forward, I'll likely be covering the older, more elusive cases with this series rather than trying to make pennies out of minor market variations on these newer cases. But had I not made this series, I wouldn't have known that, and wouldn't have wasted time making this video. But remember, it's always easier with hindsight.